Hello and welcome to Tricks of the S-Trade channel. Today is the 20th of November 2017, and in today's feature we're featuring Alexis Ohanian. Alexis Ohanian is a supposed husband, or well, we'll just call it a husband for now, but we'll get to find out that by the end of the video you know that Alexis Ohanian is transgendered, and so is Serena Williams. So they flip the sexes. So this is the first time on our channel that we're featuring a couple in which both of them are transgendered. We've never seen this before, and this is quite like a record for us. So Alexis Ohanian, the story about Alexis Ohanian is that he's married to Serena Williams, and I think the wedding was done this weekend, if I believe so. And what got me started about looking into Alexis Ohanian was because I was just listening to the news and watching the news, and I found that Serena Williams was married, and I was like, okay, I was just flipping through the pictures. Then I noticed a very weird Q angle on Alexis Ohanian, which I have never paid attention to before. And we've made a lot of videos on Serena Williams, but we've never ever, took the time out to look at Alexis Ohanian. We just assumed that Alexis Ohanian was a dude, even though and that's just what it was. Now I do remember someone actually on the channel telling us that Alexis Ohanian looks like he's a transgender. Now we didn't pay much attention to that comment because, like I've always said, if you're gonna leave a comment on the channel labeling someone a transgender, you should provide links of pictures based on the female skeletal structure so that we can actually look at it and know that this is factual fact or that you're representing to us, because we just can't go off the word of someone saying someone is a transgender. That's a rumor. You have to provide facts. So that's why I always encourage people, if you have your suspicions, bring up your pictures and links of pictures based on the female skeletal structure, being that a female has hips below the crotch, or that a female has an arch in the back, has a wide pubic arch, and the pelvis is tilted forward, sorry to say. So bring up your links of pictures based on that so we can take a look, instead of just going over words and rumors which are not based on facts. So if that person who said that, had provided links of a picture saying, take a look at this, this is what I think, or this is what I know, or what I see that makes Alexis Ohanian a transgender, we would have taken a closer look and then would have made a video, and it wouldn't take this long for us to find out that Alexis Ohanian all this time was hiding behind Serena Williams and is actually a transgender as well. So there is no length and depth that the Vatican will go to deceive us. I mean, there is nothing sacred. I mean, I don't know the right words to say it. There's just absolutely nothing that these people won't do to deceive us and to tie a lot of people to believe the New World Order and and their so-called Luciferian doctrine in which they worship, and go to hell with them. So people, I encourage you, all right, when you're labeling someone a transgender, like I said, all right, please provide your facts. Don't just say someone is a transgender. Bring your facts. Try to present facts in everything you say, because it helps us to learn. It helps everybody else. So we're not just busy slandering and mudslinging someone's name in the mud. Now, if it's your first time on the channel and you've heard all of this and you want to continue watching the video, you have to pause the video right here and go look for the primer video. I'm going to show you how to watch the primer video and how to get to it in a second, so just bear with me. The primer video is going to be the oldest video on this channel. It's called Primer. It also has a playlist, so you can actually look for the playlist called Primer. Alright, well, when you click on the video, or any video at all that you pick to watch on this channel, because we have a lot of videos, there's a document attached. The document is called Male versus Female Visual Differences. Okay, now we advise that you study this document. It's going to take you 30 minutes to go through. It has a lot of pages, but we guarantee it will take you 30 minutes to go through it. If you have the time to watch TV, and you have the time to play sports, and you have the time to do a lot of stuff, I believe that you can take 30 minutes of that time out to study this document. This document is based on facts, facts that you can look around with people around you. Because I had a crazy lady on this channel who said that the document is supposed to have some sort of bibliography. And that was the craziest statements I've ever seen someone leave, because the document is based on facts. If you're a female, take a look at yourself or somebody else who's female. If you're male, take a look at someone else who's male, or vice versa. All right? I mean, we all have girlfriends, wives, husbands, somebody who can strip nude for you to actually look at the features that we're showing on this document. So this document is going to take you 30 minutes or less to go through. If you want to know the visual differences between male and female, when we say visual differences, we're talking about things that we see that are, more prominent on males, and those are the ones that are more prominent on females. But the single defining feature, if you don't have time to go through the document, I'm just going to give it to you short and straight. The single defining feature that differentiates a female from a male is that a female has the ability to give birth. And because a woman is structured to give birth, because that's the only defining feature between males and females, is that a female can give birth. So with a female, she's skeletally designed to go through that process of childbearing. And because of that, the single defining feature is always around the pelvic region. So for example, a woman is going to have an arch in her back. The pelvis is tilted forward so that a baby can sit inside the pelvis. All right? She's going to have a wide pubic arch, and her hips are going to be below her crotch from where the Q angle starts. The Q angle is the angle between the hip and the knee, and it's very, very acute for females. So in a very simple term, that's the basic defining feature. So if you want to go through the document, just have that in your head. All right? So we are already on the subject of transvestigation of Alexis Ohanian, which we'll call Alexis. I might say the name is Alexis because I found out that he's female, and we're going to prove it by the end of this video. So we're already knee deep into transvestigation. So I start by showing you that a female always has an arch in her back. The arch in her back is because the pelvis of a woman is tilted forward. The arch in her back is also because it's extra support for the weight of carrying children. The arch in a woman's back is also because the female spine is much more flexible than that of a man, because a woman is going to get pregnant. So the spine needs to be flexible enough to be able to move to accommodate that weight of pregnancy. All right? So that's the reason why a woman has an arch in her back. So the arch is always going to be a C-shaped arch depending on where you draw it at the back. If you draw it upwards from the shoulders downwards, it's going to turn into an S-shaped spine for a female. With males don't have an arch in their back because males don't get pregnant. So the back is always going to be straight. If the back of a man wants to be arched, it's going to arch outwards. A back of a female arches inwards. A man's back arches outward into the shape of a D or a P. So I always want you to remember those letters. The shape of a man's back gets straight, shaped like a D or a P. The shape of a woman's back is S-shaped or a C-shaped back. Okay, so I want you guys to remember that. So I'm going to scroll into the document just to show you that a female's back always arches much more than that of a man because the spine is much more flexible. So you can see here is a female right here, and she's bending down, and you can see this deep C arch in the back. All right, I scroll far into the document just to show you that it doesn't matter the shape or the size or the, let's say, the height or the width or how big, how tall, how small a woman is, she's always going to have an arch in her back. So here is a big lady to my left, and she still has an arch in the back and the pelvis is tilted forward. A small lady to my right, she still has an arch in the back and the pelvis is tilted forward. So the size of a female doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if she's big, she's tall, there's always going to be an arch in her back. Why? Because the pelvis of every woman is tilted forward so she can carry pregnancy. She can bear children. So there is no female who has a straight back. The back might look straight, but trust, when you look at it, it's gonna be subtle arch because the pelvis is tilted forward. Because without that, you can't be female. All right. So, and here is another picture just to show you that it doesn't matter if the woman's got muscles. There is no amount of steroids that you can take as a female that will change the skeletal structure. Nothing can change the skeletal structure of anybody. The skeletal structure is determined at conception, and when that is determined, nothing can change it. So there's a muscular female here, and you can see there's an arch in the back. Another muscular female here, arch in the back. Nothing can change that skeletal structure. So I'm going to play a short video just to show you where the hips of a woman at, which is different from that of a male. The hips of a female are below her crotch, so the hips do not get in the way when a woman is about to deliver a baby. Now, with men, the reproductive organs are supposed to be outside the body, all right? So the hips, all right, or the pelvic region, all right, is made in such a way that it has to be above to have space outside. So that's why a man's hip is above his crotch and a female is below. So let me play that video. Here is the video I'm going to play, which is going to show how a woman's hips are measured. Because, you know, female clothes are sewn quite differently from male clothes. And also, female clothes are sewn all around the world. They come from different places, all right? If there was, let's say, if a woman's hips was varying, that means a female's hips couldn't be determined. It had varying hip locations. The clothes that are being brought into, that are being sewn around the world and brought into several different countries would not fit, because people wouldn't know where the hip location is for a woman. So they would have problems. So, but here is how the woman's hips are measured, so you can actually know how she fits into clothes, because that's where the hips are at for a woman. So I play the video. So as you can see, here's a woman right here. And if you're female, you can do this at home. Just stand in the mirror. You're going to see that you start spreading from under your elbows. You spread wider and wider, and the widest points are going to be your hips, which is always going to be below the crotch. So I'll play the video for you to see that. The tape goes around, and you can see where the hip location is. It's below the crotch, not above it. And as you can see, the Q angle of this lady, the Q angle is the angle between the hip and the knee, is very, very acute. The reason for the acuteness is because the pubic arch of a female is wider, so that a baby can stay inside this pelvic region and can come out without no trouble. So the pelvic region is pubic arch, sorry to say, is much more wider, which pushes everything in a female further apart, so that a baby can have easy access coming out during childbirth. So this female turns around so you can see where the hip location is from the back. Now, when you look at the back, like I've always said before, if you're ever confused about looking at the location of a hip, maybe if you look at a female from the front, if you're trying to do a transvestigation of someone, and you take pictures of the person from the front and you find it confusing, try to see if you can find a picture from the back. Because once you see a female from the back, you're going to know that's a woman, because the Q angle is going to be very, very acute, and you're going to know where that is, that you're looking at a female. So with females, the hip location is just slightly above the bum line, but below the crotch. So remember that. The hip location is slightly above the bum line from the back, but below the crotch. So let's move further into Alexis Ohanian, properly transvestigating this so-called dude who's been fooling us for a long time. So here is a picture of Alexis Ohanian. This is the picture that started my looking into the transvestigation of Alexis Ohanian. As you can see right here, the Q angle of this so-called dude is below his crotch, is not above it. Can you see this Q angle, this hourglass Q angle that is below the crotch? This is Alexis Ohanian's crotch, and that Q angle is below the crotch. If Alexis Ohanian was a man, the Q angle would be above it, but it's below. And as you can see, this fine hourglass figure that Alexis Ohanian has, which makes him a woman completely. Alright, so now before I get in further into the video, this is the point that I have to put out warnings, because like we said before, we do not appreciate slandering of any form. You just can't say someone is a transgender on this channel without providing facts. So your facts have to be based on the female skeletal structure. You have to provide links of pictures of the so-called person that you're bringing to question to be a transgender, you have to provide links of pictures based on the female skeletal structure that the person has or does not have, hips below the crotch, the person has an arch in the back, the person has a pelvis that's tilted forward, and a wide pubic arch. Your pictures have to contain those facts when you're labeling someone a transgender on this channel. If you start off by saying the person has strong jaw lines, has a big forehead, a sloping forehead, the index and ring fingers are way too long, the person has long arms, has long shoulders, the shoulder to hip ratio is wider, and has Adonis belts, has an Adam's apple, and all that nonsense that have nothing to do with childbirth, your comments are gonna get blocked, and you are gonna be asked to unsubscribe, because we deal with facts only on this channel. We want people to have a clear view of what's going on in the world, because the people behind it don't want you to see that. And these people are the Vatican. As we've said before, the Vatican are the people who control the world. They are the ones who are given into the organization of taking young children and turning them into a gender and sex that's not theirs, that they were not born with, to make them products. Because you have to understand that the new world order we live in, the basis to make it successful is pedophilia. Why pedophilia? Because you have to take children and train them and make them pass the tradition of the new world order onto the next generation, being that no man lives up to 200 years old. So you have to keep passing the tradition and the culture down to them to make sure that they succeed where you did not fail, because as men, we have physical limitations that we cannot live very long. So if the new world order is going to be here in the next 100 years, you need to train the children that are going to carry that process into the next age. That's why pedophilia is very, very important to the Vatican. All right? So there's no slandering allowed on this channel. Provide your facts. Just like the person who said Alexis Ohanian was transgender. If the person had provided facts on links of pictures based on this for us to show, or based on this to show us, we would have taken this up much more seriously and would have had a video on Alexis Ohanian. I keep calling him Alexis because he's a female. We'd have had a video on Alexis Ohanian sooner than this. So let's move on. Now, this is some news I just wanted you guys just to take a look, because the level of Vatican deception and lying to the public is, I mean, there are no words for it. I just can't describe. And here is one stooge of the Vatican who made some, who made some comments about the sexual assault cases that started with Harvey Weinstein, and that is spiraling out and is trying to involve anybody and anybody that the Vatican seems wants the person to be involved or not. They're using it like a witch hunt right now. So this dude here in Terry Crews, all right, said that he was sexually assaulted. Now, people, this was something, like I said, it's something I just had to call out and make you guys see that. I mean, I don't know if it's something we should laugh about or it's serious, because imagining that someone like Terry Crews got assaulted, it brings to, it sparks memories of, like, really, someone assaulted this dude. Now, first of all, let's take a look at how big and how tall Terry Crews is, okay? Now, Terry Crews is, they say here, where's his stats right here? It says Terry Crews is 6'3" tall and weighs 245 pounds. Now, looking at this dude, if you're just a normal man, let's just ask this typical question, and you see Terry Crews and you've never known him before, he's 6'3", 245 pounds. And you see him in a party. Let's say you're a whatever the case, or whoever case, or let's say you're a homosexual. And you walk over to Terry Crews and you have the guts to grope this 6'3", 245 pound man without thinking about the consequences that this guy could break you into. So why am I bringing up this story? I'm bringing up because this sexual assault thing with Harvey Weinstein it's fabricated. It's laughable because it doesn't make any sense that these people have been assaulted over for years and all of them kept quiet, all right, and they didn't say anything for a number of years. Nobody said, oh, there was some assault going on in Hollywood maybe 10 years ago, 3 years ago, 4 5 years down the line. They all kept quiet, 50 years behind. They said nothing. Then all of a sudden in 2017 all of them are speaking up. Is because the Vatican wants you to believe that that is what is really going on. They don't want you to understand that they're the ones organizing and perpetrating the act. And they bring up fools like Terry Crews like this to tell you this kind of sad story. Terry Crews should be the one who's actually molesting people because of how big and how tall he is. So for him to say that someone assaulted him or molested him is actual nonsense. Because if someone's gonna assault Terry Crews, a 6'3" tall dude, 245 pounds, it has to be that this is what Terry Crews is involved in. He lacks the groping factor. Because you wouldn't just grope someone, you grope someone that you play that kind of games with, not somebody you don't know. Because even if you're as a man, someone tries to grope you, all right, and he's your friend or for whatever reason, you're not going to find that funny. You could have a reflex action of like hitting the person or something, right? And asking questions. You wouldn't find it funny at all. But someone gropes you, someone gropes Terry Crews and he doesn't say anything, is because that's what he does. Or that's what they do behind the cameras. Behind in their little closets or rooms or whatever. Alright, so that is what I wanted to say about Terry Crews, and then let me point out something else before we finish up the trans investigation of Alex Ohanian. So I saw this article on Yahoo. You can actually pause the video at any point in time and copy out this link and go read up on it. It says ancient Neanderthal relatives went extinct much more later than we thought. So as usual, white supremacy is presenting false lies, to the public to make people feel that, white folk are different from everybody else, and that they are not related, or they are not that white folk are not actual descendants of black folk. Why? To keep the myth of white supremacy alive. So this is what all these stories are, because the question nobody ever asks is this: if you say that the Neanderthal, all right, is the gene that makes white people white, all right, they forget to tell you that they've all agreed that Africa, all right, that everybody came from Africa, and that Africa is the basis of the civilization that we have today, that life originated in Africa. So if life originated in Africa, that means the Neanderthal would also have to have been African. So they forget that. But they make up this kind of stories just to keep the myth of white supremacy alive and racism, so that they can make white people feel that they're different, all right? And make other people think that way, that white people are different because of this so-called fantasy of a Neanderthal gene which doesn't exist, all right? And if you read through the story at the end, just to show you how they, tell lies, they'll tell you that the Neanderthal, where the people that it mostly affected, it says our textbook ideas about Neanderthals and modern humans have been mostly derived from finds in France, Germany, and Central Europe, just to keep on the myth of white supremacy, to keep lying to people the truth about people being white or people with straight hair, because if you have straight hair, you're an albino. That's just fact, right? Albinism affects the hair and causes it to be straight and causes it not to be woolly as regular hair should be. So the simple truth is that white folk or anybody with straight hair are just descendants of their black ancestors, and all they have is a genetic problem with the melanin content in their body because of, years of inbreeding in which their black ancestors were inbreeding amongst themselves. If you want to know more about what I'm saying, there's a video, or there's a playlist on our channel rather, that's called Myth of Whiteness. Go look for it and play the whole video. I think we have up to like maybe 10 or 11 videos there. It will show you the truth, and you'll come to a clear understanding of who you are, so that you don't get lost in the deception that's going on around us in this world today. All right, so let's move forward. Now, the next thing I want to show you guys is the fact that, a lot of people say that Freemasons, there's a lot of videos out there, a lot of channels out there rather, that say that Freemasons are the ones running the world. That has some truth, but it's not the whole truth. The whole truth is that the Vatican runs the world. Now, the picture that you're looking at on my screen is a picture of a Freemasonic emblem that's given to a 33rd degree Freemason. It's an old emblem. I'm not sure if they still give out the same emblem today. Now, when you reach the ranks of the 33rd degree Freemason, they give you this medal. Now, this medal has some letters. The letters are spelled SAPIENTIA. I'm not sure if you guys actually see it. It is large enough on the screen, but the first letter here is S, the second one is A, the third is P, the fourth is I, the fifth is E, the sixth is N, the seventh is T, and the last one, the eighth is I again, and the ninth is an A, spelling Sapientia. All right. Now, I'm going to point you to a website to actually see what the word actually means. So when you get to a 33rd degree rank in the Freemason, they give you this medal, all right? And this medal has letters that spell Sapientia, starting with an SAPIENTIA. So Sapientia means something, and I want you guys to see that today. So let me show you. So remember the words I told you was SAPIENTI, which is a Latin word, all right? Sapientia means apostolic. Now, this extra word here, Christiana, means constitution, all right? So, but the first letter that I would have, the first word I want you to remember is Sapientia. Let me see if I can pull that picture up again side by side so you guys can see it right here. I don't know if it's clear enough on the screen. It might not be, but I think you guys can see. So you can see right here, okay? Hold on a second, let me do that again. You can see right here, there's an S, an A, a P, I, E, N, T, I, A, a 33rd degree Masonic jewel, spelled Sapientia. And if you go to the website, you can just Google and on any search engine, just type in Sapientia and say translation. What does it translate to? As you can see right here, it means the apostolic constitution with the addition of the word Christiana. And where does the apostolic constitution come from? It says Sapientia Christiana, abbreviation SC, was on 15 April 1979 by Pope John Paul II released. So that means the 33rd degree of Freemasonry, of the highest order of the Scottish Rite, points you to the Pope. Does it make sense? So if they say that Freemasons are the one running the world, that means the highest degree Freemasons in each of their lodges are the ones running the world. So the highest degree of Freemasonry is 33 degrees. And the 33rd degree will point you to the Pope, as you can see here by the word Sapientia. All right. So that's just what I wanted you guys to notice, so that when anybody tells you that it is the Freemasons that run the world, they run the world on behalf of the Vatican. Because at the 33rd degree Freemason, when you get that jewel, all right, that tells you that you're a 33rd degree Freemason, that means you're working directly for the Pope. So let's wrap up the transposition of Alexis Ohanian, which we call Alexis Ohanian. And let's go. So we stopped here by showing you that Alexis Ohanian has all the symbology of a female. His elbows, his body, right? His elbow aligns with where the curve of a female starts, and you can see he has an hourglass figure, and the Q angle, the angle between the hip and the knee, starts below the crotch, below, not above it like a man should be. We already know that Serena Williams is a dude. So this is the first time on our channel that we are actually seeing this, that both genders are reversed. Wonderful. Let's move on. Next picture. Alexis Ohanian again. As you can see, the Q angle is below the crotch. Below the crotch, not above it, because Alexis Ohanian is a woman, has been masquerading and making us believe that he is male when she is a female, a stooge of the Vatican. All right, stooge of the Vatican, on the founder or co-founder of Reddit.com that a lot of people go to for their news media, is actually shilling. He's been telling you lies. If he can't tell you the truth about his gender, do you think that he's telling you the truth about anything that he's doing on Reddit.com? Together with another fake dude, fake female over here in Serena Williams? Alright, that's why you can't make idols of anybody or believe any of the elite. It doesn't matter if they are black or white. It doesn't matter what shade they come in. You can't trust the elite. Let's go on. Another picture. Alexis Ohanian. And what do you notice about Alexis Ohanian here? Right? He's wearing, or should I say rather, he's putting his hands inside his pocket. Why does he do that? Because this is one thing that, female transgenders do when they're trying to look male. They know they have hips. So they train them when you have a camera on point, all right, a camera looking at you. Put your hands inside your pocket to hide the hips. This is what people like transgenders like Ryan Gosling will do. When they're walking, if they know that someone is taking pictures of them, when they are walking and maybe the clothing they are wearing is not covering the hips, it's going to show, put your hands inside your pockets. That's what they do. I just wanted to show you that. Let's move on. Alexis Ohanian again, as you can see, he has an arch in the back. Even the way he walks, you can see the tilt of that pelvis through the clothes, because Alexis Ohanian is a woman. Now, one thing you guys have to know about how a female transgendered male tries to fake a straight back is this. They train them, besides putting their hands inside their pockets when they're walking so you don't notice the hips, they tell them to walk with a slouch. So they'll walk with a slouch. They'll hunch the shoulders forward, all right, and put a hunch into their back and slouch the shoulders to give the back the appearance of being a straight back. Because if you're a woman, if you're a female, and you walk with your chest out, that means you push your chest out as you're walking, as a man does. There's going to be a very distinct arch in your back, showing that you have an arch in your back, which makes you female. So for a woman like this, since Alexis Ohanian is a woman, if he pushed his chest out and tried to walk like a man, the arch would show much more. So what they do is say, drop the shoulders and slouch, all right? Slouch forward, hunch the back. So when they hunch the back, because females have much more flexible backs than males, it's going to look like they have a straight back. So this is what something very common that female to male transgenders do. So for example, someone like Floyd Mayweather. If you notice the way Floyd Mayweather walks with a slouch and hunches the back, so it looks like he has a straight back, because he's a transgendered female as well. He's a transgendered male, sorry to say. So Floyd Mayweather is female who's transgendered into a male. So in order to give the appearance of a straight back, he walks with a slouch, hunches the shoulders, slouches the shoulders forward, and hunches the back to give the appearance of a straight back. Go take a look at any Floyd Mayweather video when he's walking on the stage or doing anything. You will notice that slouch. It is deliberate to make them look like they're male when they're females. And this is what Alexis Ohanian is trying to do, all right? But What's giving him away is the tilt of the pelvis right here, because he has an arch in the back, which we're going to show you in just a second or two. So let's move forward. Alexis Ohanian here, as you can see, the Q angle is still below the crotch because he is a woman, has been masquerading around and lying to us that he's male when he's not. All right, so let's go move forward. Alexis Ohanian again, as you can see, there's an arch in the back just by judging. Now, don't worry about this fake man ass over here. That's Serena Williams, okay? That's a man. Don't be looking at it. That's no female's butt, okay? This man, this female over here in Alex Ohanian, if I keep calling him Alexis, I'm sorry, but he's a woman all the same, so never mind. You know who I'm talking about. He has an arch in his back right there, as you can see, and he's spreading like a woman. See the hourglass figure? Because Alexis Ohanian is female. He's been masquerading as a man for way too long. All right, another picture. Alexis Ohanian again, I show you the same thing, trying to hide the hips. They put the hands inside the pocket when they know there's a camera on him, all right, on her rather. But as you can see, he still has the hourglass figure, all right. Where he starts spreading is right where his elbows is at. You can see that right there. Hourglass figure all the way down, and the Q angle is still below the crotch because Alexis Ohanian is female, all right. Another picture. Now here's the picture that I was trying to, here's the picture that's like, it's like spot on to show you that you're looking at a woman. I want you to see the way this thing walks, right? So remember what I told you. They slouch the shoulders forward, right? Hunch the back and try to give the appearance of a straight back walking like a man. But if you look at this picture, you see that he's swinging side to side like a female. And what do you notice about the Q angle? It's below the crotch. Now, why is this picture all of a sudden hazy? Why is it not so clear? Because they're trying to hide facts in plain sight. Whosoever took this picture found out sooner or later. Oh, dang. This one's going to show that this is a female walking, because you can see that the Q angle right here is below the crotch and it's very, very acute. Let's make this picture hazy. This was like, I think, according to the picture now, it was, I think it's 1 day or 2 days before Alex Ohanian's wedding with Serena Williams. He was just walking around, and you can see right there. And usually I always use this particular feature to show you that the hips of a female always align with the inside of our palms. As you can see, the hip is right here sticking out, and this is Alexis Ohanian's palms right there. And as you can see, it's right inside the palms. If you draw a line from that hip, it falls inside the palms of Alexis Ohanian. Clear indication that you're looking at a female. But that's not what we're worried about today. We're worried about that the Q angle of this so-called dude is very acute and it's below the crotch, even though the picture is hazy, because Alexis Ohanian is 100% female, transgendered male, and has been masquerading around as one, a stooge of the Vatican. All right, let's go move further. Another picture. You can see here that the way he walks, the Q angle right here is below the crotch and is way too acute. See that? This is Alexis Ohanian, Q angle below the crotch, because Alexis Ohanian is a female, not a man. Been masquerading around as one, but is not. Another picture. Alexis Ohanian now. This is on his wedding day, but you can see there's a clear arch in the back. Arch in the back, because Alexis Ohanian is female, been masquerading around as a male. The clothes can hide it. There's an arch in the back. All right, another picture. Alexis Ohanian, and this is one picture. I've seen this picture when we're trying to make a transvestigation on Serena Williams. I actually seen this picture, but we never paid attention to it. But looking at this shirt, there's a clear arch in the back and it can't hide. All right, it may not be clear enough, but if you look well enough, you can go look. There's an arch in his back. All right, some more pictures. Alexis Ohanian again, as you can see, look at that. The Q angle is below the crotch. It's way too acute. Below the crotch, below it, because Alexis Ohanian is a woman. been masquerading as a man for way too long. Another picture, Alexis Ohanian again. Look at that. Q angle below the crotch. Below the crotch, not above it. Hourglass figure. The arms are following the contours of the body because Alexis Ohanian is a woman. Been masquerading around as a man. Way too long. Look at that hourglass figure and hips below the crotch. Look at that acute Q angle. Catwalking like a female does because Alexis Ohanian is female. Another picture. Look at that. It's still below the crotch in the way it's walking. Now I pity the poor baby that they have. This is what the Vatican does best. Look at that. Look at that. Hourglass figure. Alexis Ohanian is a woman. Another picture. Look at this. The Q angle right here is below the crotch. See how acute that is? I couldn't find a full picture of this, but you can see right there. That's the crotch. It's below it. Below it. If he was a man, the Q angle will start above right here. But it's below because Alexis Ohanian is a woman. Another picture. Alexis Ohanian, and what do you see? There's an arch in the back. The pelvis is tilted forward because Alexis Ohanian is a woman kissing on a man. Transgender. They both switch their sexes. Very crazy. I haven't seen this yet till now. Wow. All right. Let's go. Another picture. Now, this is not the picture of Alexis Ohanian, but I just put this up just to show you the differences in Q angles so you can actually see the difference between a man and a woman. Now, we have a video already on Venus Williams. You can look it up on the channel. This is the so-called mother of both Serena and Venus Williams. But why we pulled up this picture is to show you the differences in a man and a woman. So, for example, right here, Venus is a man. The widest point on Venus's hips is above the crotch because it's man. The Q angle starts here. Can you see that? That's the crotch. The Q angle starts above it. For a female, the Q angle starts below. For a man, above the crotch. For a female, below the crotch. So I just pulled this up just to show you so that when you're doing your transvestigation, you can see the difference on the Q angle. See that? Above the crotch, below the crotch, because this is female and Venus is a man. All right, another picture. Here's still another picture of Alexis Ohanian. Sorry for digressing right there. And still there's an arch in the back with the fake booty of Serena Williams, which is a dude. All right, there's still an arch in the back. You can see right there that this is a female been masquerading as a man way too long. Let's move further. All right, Alexis Ohanian again. What do you notice? The Q angle is below the crotch, not above, below the crotch, because Alexis Ohanian is a female. All right, and look at the hourglass figure. He gets wider and wider and wider and wider, and the widest point is below the crotch. All right, and you can look at that chest. That chest looks like it's been surgically, the breast has been surgically removed because there is no clear definition in the chest. That's the chest of a woman. All right, let's move forward. Another picture. A same old picture again, but you can see this one clearly. The Q angle is below the crotch because this dude is a woman and not a man. All right, another picture. In the way he sits, can you see how the Q angle is very acute in the way this supposed man sits? Because this is a female. Look at that. Let me try to blow this up as much as I can. Look at the way it sits. The Q angle is very, very acute, and the way the Q angle is below the crotch, not above it, because Alexis Ohanian is a woman. Another picture. Arch in the back. Even through the clothes, you can see that the Q angle is arch in the back, arch in the back. And where that arch starts is aligning with the elbows. Aligning with the elbows, because this is a female. Sorry. Yes. Alexis Ohanian is female and Serena Williams is a dude. All right, another picture. Alexis Ohanian again. Q angle hourglass figure below the crotch. Hourglass figure below the crotch. Because this is a female masquerading as a man. And this is a man masquerading as a female. They switched the genders. Wow. Alright. Another picture. Alexis Ohanian again. Arch in the back. Switch sexes, man to woman, woman to man at your wedding. They're lying and deceiving the whole world. Stooges of the Vatican. Okay, can you see that? Arch in the back. Because Alexis Ohanian is a woman masquerading as a man. Another picture. Alexis Ohanian already showed you this picture of them always trying to hide the hips by putting their hands in their pocket when they're walking or standing when they know that a camera is on them. Alright, another picture. I think I already showed you that picture already. And here's another picture. You can see the female gait. Can you see that? That's how a woman walks. Alright? Can you see the tilt of the pelvis and the curviness of that behind? Because Alexis Ohanian is a female. Alright? Another picture. Arch in the back, even through the clothes. Arch in the back. Pelvis is tilted forward. It starts way too long. Q angle is below the crotch because Alexis Ohanian is a female masquerading as a man. Alright, so that's the end of today's show, and that was the last picture. I hope you learned something. If you did, that's great. Subscribe and stay tuned to the channel. And I'll leave you with these words. We are living in very deceptive times. So always, always, always remember to look with your eyes, but see with your brain. Thanks and bye-bye.